what did we see following this situation? We saw Twitter and all these other social media platforms storm and ban Trump. Big move, bad move, unfortunately. For those of you that don't know about Twitter was suffering before Trump came along, believe it or not. They actually, in 2015, when Trump was running, they were going so terribly that the board had to be presented with different figures just so that Jack Dorsey could keep them happy. So he started presenting them monthly active users rather than daily active users, because daily active was going down. So what did we see once they banned Trump? Well, as I was warning, if they ban Trump, then the whole brand is going to collapse. Why should any journalists be on there? There's a running joke. Do you know what OnlyFans is? Oh, you don't? So a lot of, how do I put this respectfully? A lot of social media women on Instagram who like to post photos of their butts, they have these OnlyFans accounts where you can get additional access. It's sort of what I do, but it's for butts. And there's a running joke that if Trump started one of those, the people with Trump derangement syndrome would also sign up because they just can't separate from their hate of the man. So what we saw was Twitter stock dropping 10%.
But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
See, it doesn't matter to Jack Dorsey and the board of Twitter. The point is that Twitter and all the other social media platforms, Silicon Valley, and this is this is a global movement. This isn't just a couple of disaffected individuals in the United States who don't like his policy on immigration or whatever.
Yeah.
This is a fight to the death, and I'm going to keep saying it until people get it into their heads. This is a fight to the death. Twitter stocks could drop to a cent a share. It doesn't matter. They're going to pull out every stop to destroy Trump. Because if they destroy him, that's the first step in destroying... we shouldn't call it the Trump Party, because it's not. It's the Patriot Party. Because if Trump wasn't there, these guys are still going to be there. And so the Patriots have been awoken, mobilised by Trump, and they need to bring him down. So they'll destroy Twitter, they'll destroy Facebook. Zuckerberg and Dorsey will do exactly what they're told to do. They will do exactly what they're told to do. Do you think Dorsey really runs Twitter? Do you think Zuckerberg really runs Facebook?
No.
Give me a break. They're just little boys being, they're messenger boys, to use an American insult.
Yeah.
Whose messenger boys are they? All of them. They're all the same. And so they'll do what they're told to do. They'll be used, chewed up and spat out. This is bigger than just, man, we've got to have a memory beyond the length of a carp to remember the last 4 years and understand exactly what's been going on for 4 years. And for those of us who like history, the 40 years that preceded that. Because this is a long, unbroken chain moving inexorably to the destruction of the globe. It's as clear as day.
A lot of social media platforms have been saying, okay, if you don't like our rules, then go make your own places. So obviously a lot of people went to Parler as an option. And what ended up happening was, as you know, they went after Parler because Amazon hosts a server that has Parler on it, 300 servers that have Parler on it. So they gave them 24 hours and said, if you don't get out, then that's it. Game over for you. We're shutting you down.
I rest my case. This is not about free speech. This is not about anything other than absolute control. And all of these players are controlled. Like Xi Jinping and Zuckerberg and the big tech, they're just puppets on a string.
The premise that they were, and we talked about this on the show last week, the premise that they sort of used was they were saying a lot of these Q people and a lot of these people that engaged in violence last week on the 6th of January in the Capitol were from Parler. Well, it turns out the 13 people that were arrested weren't even on Parler. So
and this complaint about this horrendous violence, of which there was virtually nothing relative to the Black Lives Matter protests and the Antifa behaviour for the last 4 years. Not a word from anybody. And all of a sudden, some tragic deaths occurred, and that is tragedy. But relative to what has occurred over the last 4 years, this is nothing.
That's right.
And these same individuals have been dead silent. Zuckerberg, Dorsey, all of them. Silent. And then this happens, well, I'm sorry, you're off.
That's right.
You're off. So, folks, you're going to have to trust yourself, think for yourself, read the data, make your own mind up. And if it means you are standing on your own, guess what? You're probably right. Anyway.
Twitter and Facebook had a very big role in setting up those Black Lives Matter things, and over 33 people died from those. Is AOC going to get locked up? Is she going to get asked to resign, just like she's asking people like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley to resign? No, because rules for thee, but not for me. So what does this look like? I hate holding the remote because it's like I'm in a situation where it's like, okay, we're going down the avenue of what if Biden, wins? Well, this is the situation where we're going to look, and it's quite scary. If you lose in Australia, in America, this is the sort of stuff that these crazy people have in mind for us. Check it out.
When Biden wins, we'll go through all the Republican voters and Homeland Security will take the children away. And we'll put them into re-education camps.
Amen.
In these times, which are unique, we need Trump is close to Hitler.
What are we going to do if we don't like you?
Go to the White House and throw Molotov cocktails. These kids who are growing up knowing nothing but Trump, for 4 years, you gotta wonder what else they're gonna be like. Are we raising a generation of intolerant, horrible people, horrible kids? Enlightenment camps.
Right.
They're nice. They have Sesame Street characters in the classroom, and they watch PBS all day.
I'm going to go home and watch it.
Dumb. Most people are dumb. It's good to live in a place where people are, educated and know stuff. And can you imagine if you lived in one of these other towns or states where everybody's just stupid? What's great is like COVID is spiking in all the red states right now, so that's great.
Why do you think so?
Because either those people will come out to vote for Trump, those are red states, or a lot of them are sick and dying. PBS has like real news, but CNN doesn't have real news anymore. It's just a talking head talking about Trump all day long. I can't stand it. I mean, every once in a while I look at Fox News and it makes me want to throw up after 5 minutes. It's all this Joe Biden shit now, all the Joe Biden scandal, which is all made up. It's all ridiculous. And they are pushing it so hard. It's unbelievable.
So do you guys just ignore it?
Yeah.
Anyway, not a fairly bleak future, guys. I'm sure you might agree. But that's the reality. The purge is on. Just in case anyone didn't know, and this is from Tim Pool, Signal is a product of Whisper Systems, which was acquired by Twitter in 2011. Jack is celebrating his app being number one after a concerted effort to remove their competition. Parler was number one until it got nuked. Rick, you've been warning about that, haven't you?
Fight to the death. It is a fight to the death. They will come in for your kids. I don't know how long I've been saying it. It's the logical step towards the end to compel you to behave the way they want you to behave. On Signal, people keep saying, "Oh, Rick, get on a Signal quick so we can communicate." It's all being captured, folks. Don't think. Look, we have the operating assumption that everything we write and say is recorded, and so we know that. Stop thinking that you have any privacy. And when they win, that doesn't mean they stop. They will keep going. Please look up sociopaths and psychopaths to understand the nature of the enemy that you are combating. They will not stop.
Yeah.
And even when they have removed every non-compliant individual, then they turn on themselves.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the beast. It's happened in every communist country. They turn on their own. And the people that think that they're going to survive and oh, God, I've spoken to so many people, otherwise educated people, that think, don't worry about the sheep. Let the sheep die. Yeah, they're too dumb to survive, so they deserve to die. And these fools think they're going to be allowed to survive. They're not. They're the first ones up against the wall once the revolution's complete. There is no stop for these people.
And it doesn't work. This censorship doesn't work. I was telling you an example off camera, which I can't say on camera, about some white nationalists we've actually helped to de-radicalize from what we've been doing. I want a national, a royal commission into how a lot of these political, no, not even political, just social media platforms radicalize or unradicalize people. I want some numbers. Because of the amount of, as I said before, the amount of Black Lives Matter protests that were set up on Facebook, which led to deaths, and we can draw a line from here to there. This is the rally, this is the death of the person, this is the cop that was killed. You know, there's no accountability. But I know that platforms like Parler did radicalize people, de-radicalize people. And this show has de-radicalized people, yet we're going to be in a situation where that I know we're going to get banned. It's only a matter of time. But they'd be happy taking us off even though we're getting de-radicalized. So what ends up happening is we get put underground. We go to our own little environment where we're with like-minded people, which is not a good thing, guys, because then we don't get exposed to new ideas. I didn't become a conservative because I stayed with my progressive crowd. I listened to a bunch of different views. That's how I corrected my course. And so this really ties into this next quote. Censoring and purging political viewpoints will not make the ideas suddenly disappear. It will only make these viewpoints go underground, create resentments, and make wounds fester. That's from Patricia Onwuka. Funnily enough, after the events of the week of last week, we saw Trump's approval rating go up 48%, just like that.
Not surprised in the least. So
it seems like the media, people definitely don't trust the media, but it's very entertaining, isn't it, to see what's happened. Last thing I'll say on the protests in Washington DC, another person we got an update on was Adam Johnson. He was seen carrying a lectern away, which is a video that went, a photo that went viral around the internet. And here's him. He's actually just behind the lawyer here on the left, if you watch the video of that. Basically talking with his lawyer and admitting that, yes, he was there. He was making off with a lectern, and it's pretty incriminating.
Part of what you have to, factor into is, again, you just have to drill down on what actually happened. You have a photograph of our client, in a building, unauthorized to be there with, what appears to be a podium or a lectern. I'm not exactly sure which one it is called, but that's what we have.
Obviously, that presents problems for you as a defense attorney in that you have your client in the building at the time of the break-in.
I don't know how to else explain that, but yeah, that would be a problem. I'm not a magician, and neither is Mr. Bigney. So yeah, we've got a photograph of our client who appears to be inside the federal building or inside the Capitol with government property.
I like putting names to faces so you guys can follow this stuff up, because this is not... I listen to a lot of people, and when I say people, I don't mean mainstream media. I mean people that I have filtered over the last 5 years just to get the facts, and I see their hit rate. And then once you get a few of those people, it's like, okay, that's how I got to the position I'm on now. That is why I came to the conclusion before about the Capitol riots. It's like, okay, this is where we stand. And this is the last thing I'll play. It's from Alex Jones, of all people, denouncing the Q people and what they basically did, going in and breaking into the riot. Because we know there are Q people that went in. The guy with the horns that went in that we showed last week, we showed his name last week. We know he was a follower of Q and a subscriber of Q because he was talking on camera I think a year ago about it, but here's Alex Jones.